The SMGs in Black Ops 6 were in a pretty solid place at the start of Season 1. Now, granted, that's when the SOG was added to the mix, and it kind of messed things up. But in this video today, I want to take a look at every SMG in the game, rank them all from worst to best. Now, keep in mind that I'm making this video roughly a week after the Season 1 update went live, so all of this is obviously subject to change, but if you're grinding the SMGs in Season 1, this is what I would consider to be the power rankings. So you let me know your SMG rankings in the comments. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos, and if you're enjoying the Black Ops 6 Season 1 content, you let me know. At number 7, dead last to me, is the KSV. Now, I know some people are really on about this SMG, but when you compare it to everything else in the SMG category right now, I think it's pretty clearly the odd man out. It's seemingly meant to be the AK-74U type SMG of Black Ops 6, has that moderate rate of fire but solid damage, more generous range, and it is viable. It is. And the other SMGs, they just do the job better. I'm not trying to say the KSV is a bad weapon because it's ultimately probably in the upper tier of overall guns. I'd say it's in the upper half of B tier probably if I were making a list of all the Black Ops 6 guns, but it's definitely the weakest SMG because every other SMG in the game does its job more effectively. The close range time to kill isn't super fast compared to the other options, and the long range time to kill definitely isn't the fastest available. I also can't be the only one who thinks the KSV is kicking a little too much for what you get in return. I mean, seriously. It's not that the KSV is a bad gun, or that it's completely unviable. It's just definitely the weakest in the game right now. And if Treyarch is looking to buff things in the future, I think this will probably be one of the first guns they look at. There's just nothing that brings it to the table that makes it worth using over the SMGs. And I will also say, the SMGs in Black Ops 6, from top to bottom, not bad. At number 6, the Jackal PDW. Now, it was completely overpowered during the Black Ops 6 beta, and Treyarch definitely took some precautions when it came to the release of the full game. Not only was the Jackal heavily nerfed between the beta and the full 1.0 release, but the community has also had a lot of time to experiment with other SMGs. It kind of pushed the Jackal even further down the tier list. With that being said, still a strong weapon. A lot of people are still using it, partially out of habit, but also partially because it has some solid stats to its name. It has that relatively slow firing rate, but it also has a very solid damage per shot and some pretty forgiving range. The main thing that puts the Jackal at number 6 for me is the simple fact that the other SMGs can do the job better now that the balancing has been adjusted from the beta. This is just another SMG that is perfectly solid on its own. Again, I would probably say upper half of B tier, but now that other SMGs are doing well for themselves, the Jackal just doesn't have as much of a unique presence in the game. But if you like an SMG that's competitive for mid-range and isn't going to fight you too much with the recoil pattern, here you go. Honestly, I think Treyarch went a little too far with the nerfs, but at the end of the day, I would probably rather things be underpowered than overpowered. Underpowered guns encourage people to experiment with new builds and kind of figure out the secret sauce. Overpowered guns just make the game spammy, repetitive, and boring. At number 5 today, the Compact 92. It's the final SMG in the progression system, and it's by far the fastest firing one in the game. Think of it as the Black Ops 6 equivalent of the Scorpion Evo from Black Ops 2. Super fast firing, kicks like a mule, damage per shot really isn't that high, but if you get a hang of the recoil and you can stick to close range and put bullets downrange on target, the time to kill is almost unbeatable. Now, you do have to do quite a bit of lab work. You got to grind out some attachments on this to unlock its true potential, and that can be a bit of a hurdle for people who just want a beefcake SMG out of the gate, so it's probably not the gun for everybody. But the raw time to kill of the Compact 92 is extremely tough to beat. It's hard to argue against the fact that it's a top 5 SMG if you ask me. Even if you have to work a little harder to stay on target with it than you do others in the game, still worth it. On its own, it's hard to get the hang of it. But with a few attachments for recoil control and damage range, it becomes that monster. A little tricky to use because it's unlocked so late in the progression that you're likely not going to get a chance to play around it if you're constantly hitting the prestige button. But I would recommend using one of your permanent unlock tokens on it because it's worth it. It'll help you out immensely when you're grinding the first 10 or so levels of your next prestige run. At number 4 today, the Tonto 22. Now, originally, a lot of people, myself included, thought this was the best SMG in the game. While I obviously don't think that anymore, it's at number 4, it's still really good. This is officially the point where we've broken into the A tier of the Black Ops 6 overall tier list. And even though many players have figured out how to avoid the Tonto super slow fire rate, the theoretical time to kill is still one of the best in the game, as is the range. As far as SMG goes in Black Ops 6, the Tonto probably has the most forgiving range drop-off out of all of them. It does. I mean, it maintains a 3-shot kill from an insane distance. Granted, That 3-shot kill range is balanced by the fact that it fires slower than a snail in roller skates, but it has that charm to it. It draws people in, even though it's not considered top tier like it was in the early days. Super slow fire rate, high damage per shot, also paired nicely with some extremely low recoil, allows you to hit your shots super consistently from long distances, and it allows the Tonto to keep up with assault rifles in a lot of situations. The gun can be frustrating if people keep weaving him out of your shots with how slow it fires, but it is garnering the fan club as time goes on. I think that's going to keep going that way as long as Treyarch doesn't nerf it big time. Frankly, I don't think they're going to nerf the Tonto anytime soon. I think there's some other guns in the game that need much more attention. At number 3, the C9, the starting SMG in the game. Still extremely powerful choice in Season 1. We recently did a video ranking every MP5 in Call of Duty history where the C9 got a pretty respectable spot on the list of monsters. Features all the classic traits of a Call of Duty MP5. You have the fantastic handling speeds, the great close range time to kill, respectable mid-range time to kill, ton of attachments. You can fine-tune it for either close or mid-range, whatever you prefer. The C9 also features much clearer iron sights than most Call of Duty MP5s because of the removal of the top half of the circle, which is great. Lets you track enemies a lot easier than before, and largely eliminates the need for an optical attachment, which just frees up another slot in your gunsmith build for other things, whatever it may be, the long barrel, better grip, bigger magazine, whatever. The C9 is a fantastic all-around SMG, and the ease of use is a huge part of why people love it, why people are gravitated to it, as well as the fact that it's a default unlock to everyone. I mean, it is, so automatically people are going to be attracted to it, even if you are starting from scratch. It's great with no attachments. The attachments on this thing are really just a buff rather than a necessity. The only downside, I think, of the C9 is the reload animation. It's very slow by default, but it's also the easiest fix. Just throw on a fast mag or extended mag, and you're ready to go. At number 2 today, I'm going to go with the PP919. I mentioned in a video recently, I think this gun is going to keep getting more and more popular as people continue to experiment, and I think this is the case with a couple weeks into Season 1 as it just kind of goes up the chart. Features a moderate rate of fire, respectable damage per shot, but a huge, and I say huge, 64-round default magazine. There's no recoil either. It makes it one of the easiest guns in the game to use. You basically never have to worry about getting caught in a reload animation when you use this, nor do you have to worry about the recoil of sustained fire moving you off target. Time to kill, pretty respectable, it is, especially if you hit a headshot or two. And with so much ammo to go around and so little recoil, you can easily use it for mid-range like an assault rifle, or get in people's faces and spray them down like a traditional SMG. It fits both roles perfect. Spam machine, mid-range precision, it doesn't really matter. I mean, Treyarch continues to adjust all the SMGs, so we'll see. Time will tell. I mean, the time to kill certainly isn't the fastest, and the mobility isn't quite as snappy as some others, but the PP has ridiculous versatility. It's excellent up close, excellent at mid-range, and on top of that, once again, you have this giant magazine and no recoil. It's honestly kind of hard to top that, and yet there is one other SMG that's pretty easily topping it all, and everybody is talking about. I'm not going to lie, I went and got the weapon bundle with this thing with the big dragon, the green weapon bundle with the green tracers, and I played one match of Nuketown, and I actually felt bad because it truly is not fair. At number 1 today, the best SMG, hands down, in Black Ops 6 is the SOG. The first DLC submachine gun of Black Ops 6 life cycle, and the community they're pretty frustrated, mainly because it's busted. When it was first added, we all thought it was just going to be a strong SMG. But now that more people are unlocking it and experimenting with different attachments, myself included, I just paid for mine, I can confidently say it's the best SMG in the game by far. Arguably the best gun overall in the game, which is a bit of a problem. I really don't see how Treyarch doesn't nerf it within the next week or two, but let's go over the stats. The SOG not only has a very quick fire rate and very respectable damage per shot, which gives it one of the best TTK values of the entire SMG class, it also has fantastic handling speed, super snappy precision, no recoil, amazing drop-off for range, and a pretty big default magazine that can be reloaded with a pretty fast animation, even if you're not running any attachments. The SOG is top tier. But once you start buffing out all those stats with the various attachments, or you go and you buy a weapon bundle like I did that just juices it out of the gate, it's crazy. It shreds everywhere. Up close, mid-range. I mean, it's competitive at long range. I'm sorry. This SMG should not be this versatile. This may be the beginning of the end for the SOG. There's no reason a submachine gun should be the best close, best mid, and best long-range gun in the game. And yes, I know the long-range time to kill isn't as fast as some other guns. That's not my point. It's super competitive at super long ranges, and that's a problem to the balance of the game. It's honestly kind of to be expected at this point for a DLC gun to be overpowered, but as of the recording of this video, The SOG is the best SMG in the game by a pretty clear margin, and hopefully Treyarch cleans it up in one of the next balance patches because the spam is out there right now. It's going to get worse and worse as people progress through the battle pass and get their hands on it for themselves. And there you have it, my friends. Let me know where you agree, let me know where you disagree, and I'll see you soon.